Okay, hello guys. Good evening. Yeah, wrong time for recording. Yeah, scratch all of that. So today I'm here to help you guys better understand HTML and CSS by applying it to a design. Technically, this video recording is meant to help my classmates, but if you find yourself with this, if you find yourself you need any understanding with HTML, CSS, just these two, then you can watch this video as I will be using HTML and CSS to build a design that I made on Photoshop. So let me just undo that real quick. Great. Now, before we start, I've already made up my setup on my Dreamweaver, and then we'll get to Dreamweaver later. Oh, images, I see. I need to delete this guy. Yes. Great. So let's move on. Um, we come back to Photoshop. Now we need to make a selection of the image. Here is my design, by the way, and as you can see, it just has one image. Now using Photoshop for your design process, you will need to find a way to export your images and stuff. And um, the easiest way to make multiple image selections on in Photoshop is to use the slice tool, but then you need to make sure that there any kind of element that is overlaying or overlapping the the image you're trying to select needs to be turned off. I know, but then that's how best you can get it. So we come in and make a new layer base slice. Let me just export. I think I should clear things up. You need to make sure that the image you want to select is selected. All right, so I selected the layer of this image, and then I went through that process again. Let me go through that process again. So the layer I would like, the image I want to select, you can also alternatively you can use the crop tools on. Let me see if I can move this thing. Okay, I can't. Shit. You can use the crop tool by pressing C, Control C to navigate through the options in the crop tool. So here is the slice tool. You can use the slice tool to draw it, but I will find myself with unwanted space and stuff, so I tend to not use this option. So I will use the layer and then new base layer slides. This is another way to create slides inside your design for exporting. So once I select this, it selects around the image layer, and then also makes this on unwanted slides, which is like it does it automatically. Photoshop does that. So then I will go on ahead and export it again. So we'll go to now, and then we save it to the directory we want it since we've already created. Now it doesn't really matter what I say in this part, but um, some of us have already created a directory, a root directory for this whole particular project, but it doesn't really matter. You can save it anywhere you want. The image, you can save it anywhere you want the image to appear. Let me say that way. I did not change the name. Shit. Okay, so I have that. I'll minimize and try and go back inside here. Um, desktop B, and then images. It will create another image. Okay, it did not. Great. Ah, shit. Well, it really doesn't matter. Wait, it kind of does. Shit. I had to save it in a PNG format, but then I didn't. Shit. Let's try that again. Delete this one. Great. Export. And then make sure that you have PNG on. PNG 8. No, actually, PNG 24. I don't know. I always find that bigger numbers are the best. I'm just saying. Yeah. So then you just click saving. Let me call that me. Save. Okay, I can move this on. Great. Minimize it and then reload the sky. Great. Wait, is it PNG? I think I have to pause. Okay, we are back. Well, apparently, I don't think using the slice tool will help for my design because I can't really export the slices in PNG format, so that's a problem. You guys, I'm sure for you guys, it'll probably work as expected because there's no um, um, let me say overlays because for my design I need this particular image to be in PNG format so that you can have this kind of like effects that I have going on here. Yeah, also maybe we might be using some advanced CSS, but it doesn't really matter. Let me just export this the way I could use it real quick. Quick export as PNG. Okay, no, not that way. Shit. Let me just go inside it. Great. Okay, press enter. Press Shift S. Not Shift S. Control Alt Shift S. That's the shortcut to do all this. Great. We have PNG. Okay, great. Save. And then we come to. We are already there. Let me make sure that it's still me. Okay. Okay, I think it's saved. Now I will not use this size again. Okay, close it. Great. Now we are back to our design. Let me make sure that all the slides are gone so that we can have just the design. This is the design I have going on working here. So we come back to Dreamweaver and then we start something because that's basically all um, the the images we need. Sorry about that. So here we have our HTML. This is our project, the roots panel. Let me just say projects panel. Like this is where you can keep track of all your things. So over here, I'll go on ahead and create a new file. Hopefully, I can find my way around that. Okay, wait, hold on. File, new, CSS, and create, I guess. Where did it go? I I have zero idea what I'm doing. How to create it here? I am still new to Dreamweaver, so this is very strange to me. So what I'll do is, just so I won't waste time trying to figure this thing out, I will come to my folder and all I'll do is create a new file, text type file, um, this guy, and then write styles.css. Okay, okay, maybe not this type file. Hold on, sorry. Shit. Okay, we come here. New. Which one was it? I've forgotten. Um, that's not a shortcut tool. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pause this real quick. Okay, so where were we? Great. With the CSS. Uh, I don't know. I feel like I should say this, but it's not really relevant. I don't really do my development stuff with Dreamweaver, so I don't know. Most of these things are new to me. The reason why I'm doing this is to kind of like help understand the whole concept of HTML and CSS, but in Dreamweaver because most of us are like that. It is required for us to use Dreamweaver. So I'll try and find my ways around it. I looked it up, and apparently you come to this tab, and then there are a bunch of things you can use here. Typically, I'd like to like just use my keyboard to type them out, but apparently over here you have the option to just click on them and stuff. So let's come here. This is the source. This is where like the CSS file itself, creating it. So we create a new CSS file, and then we make sure that we put it inside the directory, which is B right here. It's already open there. File name, let's just call it styles, and then just leave it like that. I'm sure it will add an extension to it. And then we just click save. Great. And make sure you link it, not import it. Conditional usage. Screen. I'm sure this also has its like benefits and stuff, but I don't really want to go into it because yeah. Then we press OK. Now that we have our styles, it has automatically linked it. Let's start with some code and great. Now you would probably want to change the title because that's what will show on the tab of browsers. So I'll just call this my name. Yes, my name is Kelvin. So we'll leave it at that, right? And then let's go to the body. So there are a few ways I'd like to teach this because I feel like this way would be much easy to understand. So here's how it goes. Um, when it comes to building a website, there are a lot of elements. There are a lot of elements that go inside building a website. There are a lot of tags. There are a lot of UIs you see, but then most of the times you are going to divide these into three. We probably going to have a nav. Auto completion. Damn, there's no auto completion. Um, okay. Um, great. It completed it for me. You're probably going to have a nav, a main, and then a footer. Oh shit. A footer. Great. Most of the times, I'm sure you probably just need only this. But let's just move on to my case, the design that I have here, which is probably not good. Okay, maybe we could use the footer. This would be our main, and then this would be our nav, and everything here is encompassed inside the body. Okay, so now let's move on. Great. So then inside my nav, again, I like to type things out rather than using some of these features. You can literally just click here, insert, and then div, and then I think it will do it. And then you have to add in the class name of the div. I'll call this navigation container, and then no ID at intersection points. Let's use that intersection point because that's where the this KSI is. Sorry. So it has already pre-populated it with some contents that I don't need. We take that off. So make sure that the navigation is spelled correct. Great. So the reason why I created this div is because basically um, when it comes to websites or anything like software related, they are mostly created using divs. Divs are essentially like containers, boxes. I think you already know that, but it helps you kind of like arrange your things inside your website according to the CSS styles you give to it, right? So then over here, uh, you, I will use an unordered list to create this thing. But then I'll do it. I'll use the CSS style to kind of like make it look horizontal because on other lists always comes in a block format. They are mostly vertical. So let me just do that real quick. And then inside it, I'll put in an li. Great. And then inside the li, I put in an a tag. Sorry, a tag. And inside this a tags, A tags, I think A tags are self-closing. I'm not too sure about, okay, I don't think so. Okay, so then here it accepts an href. And inside this href, you can put in, I need to look A tags up. I'm sorry, hold on, give me a sec. Um, okay, so we add in an href. Hold on, don't pause it over. Okay, so A tags are not self-closing, and also there's an equal to. So like I said, you can use some of these things that Dreamweaver provides. So like when you come here, you can come to the same insect, and then let's see if I can find it real quick. Where is it? A tags. Where is it? Where is it? I don't think I can find it. I'm sure it's somewhere here. It doesn't really matter. So over here, I'll use the same thing I did. And A tags needs href. Um, Basically, this means where is it going to, like the link, where is the link going to. For starters, I'll just use a hashtag. A hashtag basically means it's always going to return you to the current page you're on. So what do I have? I have home, about, projects, contact. So let's say home, and then say this. Wait, sure. Wait. Okay. So we have home. No. And then we make a duplicate of this, like some few times. Home, about, um, what else? Projects, and then contact. Now for this particular tutorial, I won't include responsiveness yet. Why? I don't know how this thing works. It's not aligning. Doesn't really matter. It can still read it. Um, so we have this, as you can see, it's showing over here. I feel like I should split this thing. View, split horizontally, just to have it this way. And then I'll move this guy somewhere here. Great. Okay, so we have this. Okay, so I think I should try and put in the CSS first. Sorry, the HTMLs, all the HTMLs needed for this, and then I go on with the CSS. So then we come to main. Inside our main, I will use a section tag. A section tag basically, in your website, you probably have various sections. So basically, that's what a section tag is. And there are so many other tags. There's a header tag. Uh, as you already know, there's a footer tag. What other tags are there? Let's see. Right. Unfortunately, they don't come to my mind yet. I'll say them when they come. Not number one. So then we have a section. Inside the section, we need to put in. Um, we need to put in. I would say we need to put in a div, because this side is its element. This side is one element, and then this side is another element. All right. So let's do that. Another div, and then let's see. Inside this div, um, we will have the h1s, and h1s are like the highest. I wouldn't say highest, but like if you want to use a text that's very big, you probably want to go with h1s, because they are the only, well, they are H2s, H3s, H4. You can use all of them, but it's typically advisable to use H1s. So H1s are right developer, and then it's so weird not using Visual Studio Code to do this, but then, yeah, just to get the understanding, I need to do this. Copy it, paste it, bruh. Copy it, paste it, and then we have the design. I'm trying my best to squeeze it the time. So then we have this, and then we will have our image. It could be anywhere actually. It doesn't really matter where I put them because at the end of the day, the H1s are going to be position absolutes to get them at the position we have over there. And then one behind it, one on top of that. So we have our image. I'm probably going to use insect here. Image. Um, it has opened this the folder for me, I guess, and then you put it here. Normally, I would want to do this all myself by typing and stuff. Great. So we have the image and it's big. It's very big. So let's see. Let's reduce this down for now. Um, has it reduced? Bruh. So what I'll do is I'll take away this guy and then I'll save and then we move on. We have this section complete, this whole section complete. That's all we needed for it. And then we create another div inside the same section. Let me try and put an ID there real quick. Okay, let's enter. Great. So inside this ID, I'll just say contents. Great. So then we create the second div. This is the first div. Let me close it. You can close it. It's collapsible. So second div. And inside the second div, we just have a paragraph element. So there's a p tag. But then I was thinking of like tags that like helps you arrange elements. There's an article tag. There's a there's a lot of tags actually, but I don't really have them all in mind, which is disappointing. I figured I would. There's a p tag. P. Press enter. Great. And then let's see if this works. Okay, it doesn't work here. I'll just come here. Press my V. Control D. Copy it and then paste it and then we save. Let's see, what do we have now? What do we have now? What do we have now? Does it work? I have no idea if it's working or not. Save. Great. And then I will put in the footer element, which is probably still going to be a p tag. It just needs something to contain the text, I guess. We come here. Honestly, I'm just saying this from my opinion, but I wouldn't really recommend using Photoshop for your designs, um, for your whole website design or product design, something like that. You typically want to use something that's much faster to use and stuff. But yeah, maybe that's the software you understand at the moment. So yeah, you can still go for it. And yeah, some people still use Photoshop for development and stuff. Okay, great. Okay, let's see what we have. We have all the content we need. So I see it's auto updating it, but it's taking quite long. Right. So let's start with the styling. I need to split this guy. With the styling, when you come to the styles, hopefully I can split. Open this in a separate file. Oh shit. No, don't do that. Okay. Let's start with the nav. So with the nav, I placed everything inside this div. So what I can do now is to use this thing here, the class name I gave to the div inside the nav. The div inside the nav actually isn't necessary, so I'll just take it out and then put it inside because it's inside a URL tag, which is basically a container for list. So it's not really necessary to have another div. If you want to add another div, it's totally fine. But I'm just saying, for me, I won't use it. So over here, there are some things you need to do before, oh God, before writing CSS, because if you don't do them, your website might not look like what you wanted. So I'm gonna go ahead and do them real quick. Using this asterisk sign means everything, select everything. And by selecting everything, we will do this, padding 0, and then add this, and then margins 0, and then box sizing, and then border box, press enter. So in VS Code, it's probably tab to autocomplete. Over here, apparently it's enter. Now you will need these three things to I don't know, make your website look on a default level, like it has no styling. Because whenever you create any HTML file, like a new website or stuff, it already has like some patterns to it and some margins to it. So you need to reset all of that just so you have your design looking like how you want it, how you plan to have it. Okay, so then let's move on to adding the style. You put in the dot, then navigation container. Wait, how do I write the navigation container? Okay, so this is wrong actually. You need to either no space allowed, either underscore or this one. Great. So you come back here and then you put it there. Great. And then you do this. It's very slow. Okay, let's do this real quick. Now with the CSS, I'm going to use flex to kind of like get uh, the the list aligned on a horizontal plane. So I'll do display flex, and then when it comes to flex, there are two axes to it. There's the x-axis and y-axis. Defaultly, flex is on the x-axis. You can change it to be on the y-axis. So we want it on x-axis. So we'll leave it like that. And then we have to add. What do we have to add? We have to either add gaps or justify content. So I will use the gaps for starters. No, not gaps, gap. Let's just say 30 pixels. Let me just say 30 pixels. Great. And then save. And then when I come here, I will give the nav. Now, this is the nav itself, the nav tag we use in the HTML. So I'll give the nav a width of 100 viewport width. Now viewport width basically means your width should occupy the current viewport width. So like if you're on your laptop like this, the width of the nav will be the entire width of the size of the browser. If you're on your phone, it would be the entire width of the size of the phone, right? I hope you understand that. And then we will give the height 100%. And then this basically means 100% of whatever you are containing. I hope that makes sense. Great. So we move on. For some reason it doesn't seem to be working. Do I have to save? Right. So something wasn't working, and I think I found why. I don't know why I'm making that much mistakes, but yes, as you can see, everybody's learning. So yeah, you save that, and I think they should work. I think hopefully it does. If it doesn't, voila. Um, hello, anytime now. Container in this, control C in this guy. Um, okay, right. So it wasn't working, and I don't know, frustrated. I was like, yo, why are you not working? So then apparently I was in the design tab. A lot to it. I have no idea what was going on. Right. So then, as you can see, when you select the nav, you have full width on it. Great. I will try and add some space into it by adding paddings. Paddings are essentially indoor space, like interior space of your whole. I wouldn't say div, your whole content. So like this one like this. What is containing now? This is the nav element. So inside the nav, the space we give inside the nav is what we call padding. The space we give outside the nav or any other tag is what we call margins. And that's very relevant because it helps you distinguish, like define spaces for your website. So let's give it a pattern of like, so pattern itself is four elements involved. There's a pattern top, bottom, left, and right. So the first value could be the pattern top and bottom. So I could say 20 pixels top and bottom. See, it has done that. And then the space, and I see like 60 pixels left and right. You see, it has given you left and right spaces. There we go, have it. So I'll leave it like that. And then I come here, we have the display flex on it. Now, since the UL tag is still the navigation tag, inside the UL tag, you could say something like um, list style none. And then what this does is it takes away all that the distance. And then text decoration none, I think. Yeah, text decoration. Text decoration none. And let's see if that one works. Okay, so text decoration did not work because it's in the E tag. So typically you wouldn't want this text decoration or any of your text elements. So you come here, and then you define E, and then you put it inside, and then you see, uh, let's see, great. So now they are all gone, and I will just use a default font over here, but I will show you how you can get to the font that I have over there. You could import it using Google Fonts, or you could also import it by converting it into a web font. Then you use it inside the project. So font family, let's use Inter, and then wait, font family. And then let's use Inter, comma sans serif. Sans serif. And then what this does is it will look for Inter. If it doesn't find Inter, it will put in sans serif. Great. And I don't think it's working. Okay. Let's try and use something else. Let's use skill sounds. And then save. Okay, so it has already done the sans serif part for me. Just take this one out. Save. Great. Try do something wrong. Okay, there we go. It's back. Great. Now, the reason why I place it here is because I want all the text to have the sans serif thing. Great. Never mind. Let's move on. Let's move on. Okay, so we have the flex and the gap and everything. Right now, I don't think we would want to use a gap because we want the text to have that kind of like it should be centered and stuff. So I could use a property in the flex family called justify contents we have justify content. We have space between, as you can see, they are all here. We have center, flex, end, flex, start, space around, space between. I wish I could explain all of this, but yeah, we just use what we need right now. I should go on and like you experiment with it. I'm sure you can find a way around them. So right now I will use a space between shit. Let's get confused by, and then as you can see it has given you this, and also change the color to black, color black, color black, save. Now with the pattern I will try and squeeze it in, and then something like that should look fine, just fine. Great. Now for the font, I will go to Google Fonts. I think I was already using something like that already. You probably don't want to mind my thoughts right now. Fonts.google.com. Great. We wait. Now over here, I feel like if you are going to see this as a long term, really not really not a long term, but when you're doing development and um, you need fonts to use in your project, the easiest way to use it is using Google Fonts. So over here, the fonts that I use was Paper's New. We select Paper's New. Now I need to clear all of this that I have here. I already have some fonts, very important, but let's clear all of them. How do I do that? Removal. Okay, so Paper's New is already here. Balu is also a nice choice. Okay, removal, removal, Roto, removal. Okay, so we have Paper's New. What's width do we have here? It's only width of 400. I mean, it will work, I guess. So we have that. Now there are several ways you link your this font you just took from Google Play. So you can link it using the HTML, and then we can link it using the CSS. So I'll use the HTML because it's the most common way to use it, and then minimize. Great. Come back to your source, and then inside your link you paste it there, and then you just say leave it like that. I think I should have taken some fonts for the texts and stuff, but yeah, never mind. Over here we have the font. Now what I'll do is I'll come here, and then it's just the H tag, the H1 tag that needs um, the Beaver's name. So we go back to our browser, it will give you something to work with over here. So this is what we need: CSS rule for specific family. You copy it, you come back there, and you paste it. Now you save. As you can see, it has given us the whole thing. I don't know if I can, let's see, font, wait, press enter. I want a big. I don't know if this is going to work. I hope it does. And then font size. 18 rem. Now, as you can see, I'm using rem here, but yeah, you sometimes you would want to use units that are very not pixels, because they can really help you push the boundaries. Because if I was to want to use pixels for this, I would probably want to use 180 pixels or something. But then using rem or m helps you get there real quick. Now I could also use viewport width as a unit for font size. It's not really recommended, but you could still use that. So for now, let me just stick with 18 rem. Let's see what we have. I'm confused. What's going on here? Where's the text? Okay. Everything is there. Great. As you can see, now I will try and squeeze the letter spacing, the tracking of the text inside a little bit. So the tracking is basically the spaces in between individual characters in the word. Is that tracking? Hmm. Please, I might be wrong, but then yeah. But over here we call it letter spacing. Letter spacing -2 pixels. Let's see what we get. -0.2. Okay. Okay. -4. 10. Let's see. Okay, looks alright. I'm trying to do 12. Nah, I think 10 is good. So 10. Great. So then we have the text good, all good. Everything is all good. Great. So then we are done with the nav. As you can see, the nav looks a little bit okay, I guess. Now over here, I will try and say font width again of like 400. Now font width is basically defining how thick the font should look. Typically for like base fonts it should be 400, but it's not really giving it to me right now. So let me try and put up. Okay, 600, not too much. 500. I see, so it's within 500, 400 and 600. Okay, it would seem we have some overflows, but we will work on them later. And then color black. Why is it still white? The reason why the color is still blue instead of black is because the texts are inside an E tag, and E tags always default to blue colors. So I'll come here and then put it here. See, now this video is becoming lengthy for something so simple. Great. Now that we have this, we move on to the next part, which is the content. Now I wrote content just to comment it out, so that like it's always good to have good comments on your code to kind of like for readability or for like other people uses purposes. So then over here I'll have to add another class to this guy, class, and then call this one the main thing, I guess. Now that's too long. Let me just call this main content main, something I want to call it, and it's we copy the class. I don't think the way I'm using Dreamweaver, that's the way you do it, but I'm someone who doesn't use, so it's already here. Great. It was already there. I didn't even have to copy it. That's dope. So in content mean, let's see, what do we want? What I would want is before I move to content mean, let's see the structure again. So we have this content. I think we should start the content first. Now how the content is everything is kind of like inside this container, but then it's centered. You get me? So I'll explain as I go on. So I'll still add a display flex over this one, and then inside the display flex, let's see, we will have a width of. Now we want the width to be the viewport width that we have. So I will still use viewport width, and then the height to be 100%, not 100. So with the height, if you want the height to be the height of the current viewport height, use VH. But right now we don't want to use that because you don't really know. You don't really need to predetermine the height for it, or else you kind of run into overflows and stuff. So we use 100% so that it fits inside the content we provide for it. And then this is supposed to be for content, not content mean. And then we come here and then we type content mean, and then inside content mean, before we move on, let me just add align items center, and then align content also center. Hey, did I say align content? Shit. and then justify content center. And then once we have this going, yeah, there should be about as much CSS as we want. Now, the reason why I'm trying to explain the CSS here, because that's probably most of the things you need to like style, make your website look beautiful. The HTML is basically the skeleton, just put things inside the right order to style them later. It's not always supposed to look like this exact HTML or something like that. Great. So now that I have this, let's see what we have here. Right. Now, before I move on, inside content main, I need to make sure that these H1s are positioned absolute, right? But then also inside content main, I would have to add a display flex, and then display flex, and then what else? What else? What else? What else? What do we need? So display flex, I think that's all we need, to be honest. And then you save. But then what I want to do is I need to make sure that the H1s inside content main are absolute. There are a few ways. I didn't add any tags to them, but then there are a few ways you can work your ways around them if you know your way. But I would just add a class into it. Class the dev, and then over here class ds. Okay, so I will save that, come to my styles, and then over here I will write dot. We have dev, then comma dot ds. Now the comma is to like say whatever style you apply to the first one applies the same thing to the second one. Position absolute. Oh shit. Position absolute. Right. Now with position absolute, this is where things get, I don't know, a little bit demanding. Uh, the font size will change. It's not supposed to be 18, right? But then it will change. Now when you have position absolute, the moment you apply position absolute to any element on your website, it sets the the whole absolute area of like the the whole width and height of the website. So right now I have position absolute on dev and this. When I save it and then I come here, let's see if it worked. Let's see. Position absolute, it should be showing something. Let me see. Apparently it's not working. Great. I have no idea why it's not working, but then yeah, it should be working. Pause. So it was working, but it was I don't know, something else. Shit. Okay, let's see what do we have. So now the dev has worked, but then the designer is not working. The designer is pushed to the side because I've said display flex on the element. Uh, it would make sense, but let me just move on. So now we move on to this. The class name I gave for the designer, it's essentially going to be the same thing. Position absolute, and then you save. Now we can see that that one too has done the same thing as we wanted. Great. Now I don't want to be like giving class names to everything that I need to style. So what I do here is I type container main, and then I do this. Now this is to say that like the moment I add div here is to say that inside this class, this container class called content main, the any child that's a div, I should and the style that I add to it applies it to it, right? Oh no, this is I think direct child of a div. So right now I want the direct child of an image because I have an image tag inside this container, and I think it's here. Let me show you over here. So then over here you can see that this is the content main class. Now inside the content main class, the direct child of the image, this one, is what I'm trying to target here. And I even had the image wrong. It's not supposed to be image, it's supposed to be img. So then, yeah, you can use this to skip naming everything, like giving class names to everything and stuff. So now with this one, I need to make sure that the width is not as big as it is right now. So let's see. Let's try width, width of 500 pixels. Let's see what we have. Let's try 600 pixels. Let's see what we have. Now we have something like this. Now something like this is not bad. So I don't want the width to be a fixed width because what I've done here is a fixed width. So what I do is I add max, and this is to say that this is the range within the width I want. So as the browser reduces or the window reduces, it kind of like fits within that width. So say from 0 to 600 pixels. That's so if you reduce it, let's say if it needs to fit within a 500 pixels like wide device, it reduces it a little bit to kind of fit it inside. So then if I save Maxway, as we can see, we still have the 600 pixels here. I hope this makes sense if I try and see. Let's see. Zoom in or what? Double click to fit. Right. I don't know. Somehow I feel like the whole max thing is wrong. Okay. Now inside the container main, what I'll do is I'd say width of 100%, and then let's see what we have here. And then since I think it's because I have this flex here, let me try and comment this one out, these two, because we should be seeing something here. Something. We should be seeing something here. Okay, we are not seeing anything. Great. So you let me just move on. So like I was saying, position absolute. The position absolute works fine. Now, right now, where it's just anywhere on the website. It's not really relative to any box or any let me say anything. So if I were to say top 0, you could see that it moves. Okay, this is weird. It's actually working as expected. I didn't expect this. I don't know why it's working as expected, but it's usually not this way. Let me try bottom and see. Let's see, and then see. Who has freezed? I feel like it has freezed. Has it freezed? Oh shit. Okay, so it's kind of working as expected. It's not supposed to work as expected, but it's not really working as expected, but it's working somewhat as expected. So right now the dev and des are inside the content main container, but then we've applied a position absolute to some element inside that container, which means the moment we do that, we need to give them something to be bound to, something to be attached to, or else they just go free roaming the whole page. That's how position absolute usually work. Maybe we are not seeing the effects inside this small like view finder we have here, but then you need to almost always add position relative to their parent div. Their parent div in the sense that like the div that contains them. Yeah, so we have to put relative here. This way we can kind of like move things with like move them inside that container. as their position absolute. The reason why we are using position absolutes in the first place is to have the ability to um, move them like anywhere we want. Because if I didn't add position absolute, I can't use certain properties that would allow me to get the text at the position I want it to be. Right. Okay. So then let's see. Great. This is like going a lot longer than I expected. I might have to chip away some unnecessary talking and stuff. Great. So then over here, inside the flex, I think I should add a justify content center just so the the image also centers. I hope this works. Great, it worked. I thought it wouldn't. Right. Okay. And then let's make sure that the height is also 100%. Once we have that, let's see. Great. We have everything we need right now. So now the key to getting this look here, let's see, where is it? The key to getting this look we have here is to see things as you see the same way you see things inside Photoshop here. Everything is like a layer on top of a layer on top of a layer. You might not see it, but this one is very apparent to your eyes is because I have a PNG image. So then, since it's a PNG image, you can see that oh this text is underneath this text layer is underneath this image layer, which this one is also on top of it. Really, it's yeah. So automatically we can get this that they're on top of it effect, but then the below its effect we will need to use a CSS style, a CSS um how should I even call this? I don't know. A CSS style called z-index. Now z-index is very important if you want to position certain things over certain things or below certain things. Now with z-index, your element needs to have a position relative or absolute. Most of the times absolute. I don't know about relative also works, but most of the times absolute because with z-index, at the end of the day, you try and want to. Um, okay, it's not only limited to relative and absolute. You can also add the z-index on fixed element. So then over here inside the position, the dev part, I would just say z-index. There we go. We have -1. Now let's see. As you can see, it's beneath it. You might not see it yet, but then here's what I do to the designer part. I just say bottom of 0. Hopefully it works. Great, it worked. It's it's at the bottom as expected, right? Now let's see. Now what I would do right now is inside my content actually, I will need to add some patterns into your space so that like you can have the space between there's not that much like you get what I'm saying. Just so that the space between the navigation and the main content is not so clumsy. If it's clumsy, right, it doesn't really appeal to the eyes. So then over here we say div. Sorry, my brain might not be working properly. Um, what do we say? We say pattern. Damn, my mind stopped working for a second there. So we say pattern, top and bottom is what we want. So I would say somewhere around 100 pixels, and then 0. Now here's the thing: 100 pixels and 0 means top and bottom 100 pixels, left and right nothing. You get me? Yeah. And this is not even working for some reason. I don't know why yet. Um, I think I fucked up. Shit. Okay. It might not be working, so let's change the pattern to margins. And let's see if that works. Wait, I was supposed to save it first. I don't think it's working. I don't think it's space is working. Sometimes things don't work. I don't know why, but then yeah, sometimes things don't work. Okay, so it would seem that let's see, where is it? It wasn't working for the navigation container. Where is it? Yeah, this one. So it wasn't really working for navigation. So it wasn't really working for content. So I had to move it to the div, the specific div that I want to add a pattern to. But that's not how I wanted. But then it worked. So yeah, I don't know why it was messing around, but it still worked. So we'll take it like that. So right now we have somewhat of something like what we want, right? So then yeah, now um you wouldn't want to do things this way, but I don't know, just so I can kind of like speed things up. I'm going to set a max width on all the P elements because I feel like they are the cause of the overflows. So inside my P, I will add a max width. Now, adding a max width helps you like determine the range of width the text is going, the container of the text, right? So then if I say max width 10 pixels, I'm kind of like trying to exaggerate the whole vibe here. See, it's only going to fit within 10 pixels and overflow the whole thing. Great. So then I wouldn't want 10 pixels. I would want somewhere around 250. Let's see. Okay, maybe 500. For let's see. Yeah, maybe 500. Okay. Now that we have that, let's come back here. Now, um, I need to add a style, a class name to you. This one. So class name, sorry, not class name, class, simple class. Damn, it's not to correct anybody about it. Yeah. So this class name is going to be called content. Yeah, I do. It doesn't make sense, but yeah, bear with me. We save it. We come to styles, and then we say right over here. I put it right there. So we have content. We're just going to have a width of the container it's inside, and that width is basically 100%. So when you say 100%, you just say 100% of whatever container you are inside, or whatever div you are inside. So it's inside the main contents we have. And then let's see. Now that we have that one defined, um, I could say that, let me add it here and see for the text align center. And then let's see if it works. It should work. Okay, it's not working. Okay, never mind. What I will do is the same trick I showed. Content, you do this, and then you say the child you have inside, which is a P, add the style to it. So then I'll just take the text on the center and then put it inside here. Save it. Not this one. Oh shit. This is very annoying. Not using Visual Studio Code for my works and stuff. But then yeah, content. Did I not save it? I'm sure I did. Save, my guy. It's not really working as expected for some reason, and I don't know why. Yes, I would want to like get this on camera because it kind of no. Okay. I would want to get this on camera because it kind of helps you understand that at the end of the day, it's just try and errors. Not necessarily, but you need to make mistakes to kind of find your ways in solving them. So if you hit a brick wall or like you find yourself in a situation where you're like, oh, this is not working properly or something like that, you just look it up and then find solutions to it. But here lies my case. I could um, help you with some debugging things. So it could be that the width is not really getting the 100% width. So we can check that with a background, a simple background. Let me just do simple background red. And hopefully that one works. Great. Color. Red. I already said red. It's red into brown. Red. Blue. Oh, see. It's not working. Let me pause because I'm using. Sure. You're joking. Wait, is it? Oh, fuck. Great. I'm back now. I don't know. It took me like 30 minutes to debug this small issue. It wasn't really supposed to be an issue, honestly. I don't know why. I just had to cancel like everything I had already done and redo it again for some reason. So like let's just do that again. Content text. Now we would want the content text to be 100% width of shit. Content text. We would want the content text to be 100% of its container width, right? So we just say width, press enter 100%. And maybe I should be speaking tree in this, but I don't know. Hopefully you understand what I'm saying. If you don't, then yeah, I might have to redo the whole thing again because my aim here is to try and make people understand this and also to kind of like reduce the amount of times people come to me and say, oh, help me with this and stuff. Just saying, great. So then if it should be working, why is it not working? Okay, yeah, yeah, I know it's not working. So then we have to add another display of flex and then we say justify content center. Now maybe I would make another video on explaining like how to use flex and like the ins and outs of flex, how what is flex, sorry, what is justify content and align items and all that. I might do that in the same video. It depends because we're already at 1 hour. I don't think people sit down 1 hour and listen to all this, but then yeah, let's do now inside the main content here. I need to add a padding, and it should work. Padding of 100 pixels, top and bottom, and then 0, and then right. Then I save, and then it would seem that it's still not working. Shit, let me check. Okay, okay, it's not working. I see. Fuck. I did not realize that. I just realized it. So it's actually an ID. So you have to append it with oh shit. And then save. Oh shit. Now that I changed everything was working, all of a sudden it's not. I don't know why. Shit. Let's see. Why is it not working? I think I know why. I think flex direction column. Um, see, great. So then, yeah, I think I realized why it wasn't working. But it, yeah, all the same, Charlie, we are almost done. To be honest, 1 hour and something. Then for just this simple. Okay, I might be going a little bit ahead of myself here, but then yeah, let's just go on. So then we are left with the footer, and I'm still going to comment it out and say this is my footer in my CSS. Okay, wait, hold on. So then inside the footer, we go footer, and then what do I want in this footer? All I want is just to align the text, right? So I would just say display flex. Most of the times you can do this simply by I don't know, display flex, and then justify content center. Simple. It should work. There we go. And then we add some patterns. Pattern. I will give this a general pattern of about 20 pixels. And then save. Great. Now we have this. Now this is not responsive yet, but it's like literally everything that has in the design. I closed the Photoshop file, but um yeah, because I don't know, I didn't feel like we needed it. So let me try and open this real quick. Let's see if it works. Move this guy over here. File. Okay. Open in browser. Search. Okay, we have something. You see, it doesn't look that bad. It looks very bad. But anyway, there's one last thing I think I should add to this, and that would be the also there are some things I need to take out of this. That would be move this guy back here. That I had already added a pattern to someone here. Where is he? This guy. Where is he? Where is he? This guy. Okay. I'm going to save it. Go back here, and hopefully it makes reflection. Yeah, it reflected. There we go. So it looks much shorter now. Also, the text that we have here looks a little bit widened out. So then right here is where we don't use the justified space between, which is this guy. We don't use this. I take it out. Rather, I use a gap. Yeah, it's giving you unknown option, right? But then there's a gap. I think it's a column gap, but I could just say gap to generalize all of them. But then here's the case, we only need a column gap. So it's going to use only the column gap, right? So I'll just say something like 20 pixels. These are all arbitrary numbers. So you will definitely not want to use arbitrary numbers. You should rely on the design to use the whole thing. I don't want to do that because it's kind of like using a lot of processes to run my Photoshop. I'm not saying my machine is not fast enough, but like yeah. So then over onto the nav, I will add in the display flex so that I can center them. Yeah, if I hope you are catching along. I hope so. Display flex, and then we add justify content center. Great. And then we save. There we go. Now let's see if it came. Reload. Damn, what happened? Okay, so there we go. Now we were saying something about like using pixels in our designs and stuff. So here I will do something real quick. I will do something like the P lighters will have a font size. Size. Now we are actually done with this. You can stop if you want. Stop watching the whole video if you want. But I'm just adding some finishing touches to it. The font size 18 pixels, but this is not actually um, advisable at the long run. As you progress in your whole development and stuff, you would want to have a responsive typography kind of stuff. So if you have a if you have the desktop view, the tablet view, and then the mobile view, you need to find a way to make it responsive in all forms of displays. You can easily do this adding using media queries, but that's very robust. Like it's a lot to do because you have to add media queries to the tablet and the mobile. But then you can do this as a one-liner. I wish I could just show you right now, but then I'll just keep it like this. You just put in arbitrary number right there. 18 pixels will work. There we go. It shows. Now I think we forgot one last thing. Over here, the footer P, and then we see something like text align center. Great. Now we have this. Now let's see. Now this I could make this a very long video and add all these unnecessary CSS and stuff to kind of give you the nav animations and all that. But I think this is a very easy way to kind of understand the whole thing. Now we have overflows. Now I can fix that. Overflows are basically like an extension to the required space you need. I can fix that adding restrictions to the whole element. You could add this to the body element, but it would still not work. So a trick I found is that you should use the HTML element and the HTML elements inside the CSS elements are overflow. Overflow X, you should be specific about that. If you do overflows, it makes you not be able to scroll on the pages at all. So overflow X hidden, then you save. Now that we have that, you can see the scroll bar just vanished. It's gone. It's gone. Great. And then we go to our page, our website, reload, and then yeah, you have this thing. It's close enough, isn't it? Yeah, I think. Now, what did I use for this? The type, I think I used 18 RAM or something like that. But anyway, this is basically everything to it. Like understanding CSS and HTML. Now I use some concepts here. Now all you have to do is look them up. If you don't really understand them, just look them up and be like, oh, what's flex or what's justified content? How do you use flex or anything like that? Or alternatively, I'm also around. I wouldn't suggest that because I might not be available at the moment. But then you can always come to me and I will explain things to you. Now I will finish this video, do some small editing on it, and then send to you guys. All right, peace.